10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Is brought to you by Lloyd's Construction and Consulting, providing first-class construction services on 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it. All right, so breaking news, there was no-hitter last night, from what I understand.
Okay. Shocking.
Yeah. And in fact, I think the only one that went, the farthest one went like 3 innings.
Yeah,
So.
our announcers felt compelled when the Braves got their first hit in the second inning to let us know that the no-hitter had been broken up.
Mm-hmm.
Settle down, Chip. We're in the second inning. I
Yeah.
don't know if you get no-hitters broken up in the second inning, but apparently we did.
The chipster.
Chipper. Not a good scene, Danny. Not a good scene.
You got a ways to go. But
I don't understand your reluctance to be scared as hockey sticks about this defensive coordinator we have in Gainesville. For the life of me, it's been bothering me. I don't want to get infighting, family feud here about it. And I know it just, I hear you talk about how big you are on the defense, and I agree that there's some talent there, but how you can avoid the elephant in the room.
I'm not avoiding it.
This guy had all this talent last year.
Yeah.
And more.
Yeah.
And he couldn't stop anyone. So I am really, really, really beyond, quote, worried about Todd Grantham. He is going to tank our season. That is my concern. A season that I think could be a very under-the-radar good year is going to be tanked by Mr. Can't Stop Anybody.
Well, if he does tank this season, he won't be back for next
that doesn't do me any good. I'm running out of years, friend. I can't afford to tank any more
I think
years.
he knows how bad they were last year. I think he'll be rejuvenated, and I think that they'll be much better than
I'm starting
they
to
were
think he's like a check casher is what I'm starting to think. Just bounce around, peddle your wares from southern school to southern school.
Yeah,
They get tired of you after 2 or 3 years.
Obviously, he's good friends with. He's been with Dan Mullen a long time.
The problem is, Dan, I think that no matter how long you've been with someone, if you go to a school that's been playing football for 100 years and you author the worst year of defense they've ever had, you should be fired. I think that's fair. Not one of the worst, not bad, the worst defensive year in the history of the school, you're incompetent. By the way, this isn't a 3-8 Florida team. Mm-hmm. This is a team that had national title hopes late into the season. This is a team that is loaded with defensive personnel that will play in the NFL. That team last year that guy guided to the worst season of defense in Florida history is going to end up with 7 or 8 guys playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
At least, maybe more. So I'm super concerned. I hope that it's unfounded and that Todd Grantham is a better coach than he showed last year. But you have to. It doesn't bother you when the athletes aren't there. But that roster is loaded with athletes. It was last year, and
it was.
He never pushed the right buttons.
I'm just trying to look at defenses nationally, and
we were like 128th or something, weren't we?
Depends where you look.
Yeah, I'll tell you where to look. Look in the end zone because that's where their offense just went over and over and over again. Think about the losses, dude. The loss to Texas A&M because you could never get a stop.
Yeah.
Lost to Alabama because you could never get a stop. Lost to LSU because you couldn't get a stop. I mean, they literally and then the Oklahoma game, we'll just put that in its own vacuum, but also not a stop in that game either.
30.8 points per game they gave up, which was a tenth of a point more than the Bruins, sandwiched between the Bruins and SMU. It was awful. I mean,
it just doesn't make any sense to be a top 10 program and have a defense that bad. I mean, Spurrier's worst defenses that drove him crazy and couldn't hold a lead against Tennessee were nothing like this unit last year.
To give you an idea, let's see if I can do this. Let's go SEC. Let's just go SEC. See,
they'll be DAL.
That's better.
Maybe they may even be worse than Vandy.
Ole Miss was the only one worse than them.
Yeah.
We gave up 5,136 yards. The best defense, Texas A&M, gave up 2,000 yards less. Now, we played 2 more games, so.
Give me the points per game. That's the one that, to me.
Points per game?
More than anything, yeah. I don't care about yards. Now,
we weren't DAL.
That's kind of ignorant to say I don't care about yards because yards matter because you can chew up time with yards. And
Missouri, Arkansas, LSU, South Carolina, Vandy, and Ole Miss all gave up more.
That's hard to believe. We must have really taken advantage of our easy games because anytime the other team was any good on offense, we did not stop them.
Yeah.
I mean, starting with Ole Miss. In the first game of the year, they
Oh,
Elijah
yeah.
Moore had 1 million yards receiving.
Oh, yeah.
A game that they barely they ended up winning by 14, but it was or 15, but it was
The
close.
SEC last year, something, it became the older version of the Big 12, offense everywhere, fireworks. So Florida's defense, while ranked, I've seen 83rd, you said 100 and something. It just depends what statistic you're looking at. They were horrible, and they were the worst defense in school history. There's two 2020 will stand out as the worst defense in school history. I don't think in any of those games they gave up more yards than they did when Muschamp was there against Bama in that game.
600 something.
Where that was the worst game in school history. Those two things will grate on me. Florida must be better. They should be given up. Okay, like the best team in the SEC last year gave up 19.4 points a game. Do you remember the days where a defense would give up like 6.2?
Urban's defense is that defense that won it in 06 gave up like 14 points a game. You forget that.
Well, let's see if you're accurate about that. Oh, very good, Jeffrey. 13.5.
Right.
So in 06, okay, just to let you know how things changed, 19.7 points per game in the SEC. Alabama last year was the best. If they had played in 06, they would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th.
Wow. And by the way, I'll take 19 running right now.
In other words, 8 other teams gave up less than 19.7 that year.
Well, the offenses have spread things out.
But that's my point. It's a different
the offensive
game.
talent has come to the SEC. Like even SEC schools that aren't maybe great overall, their offense, like Mississippi State, Ole Miss, they'll score points on you.
Yes.
And so they test you and they stress you. And instead of beating those teams 31-7 like you used to, you beat them 58-24. So your defense suffers for it. And part of it is because your own offense is scoring quickly. But, to speak to what Todd Grantham, has to work with down there, he's got some talent.
In 08, the Gators had the best defense in the SEC. They gave up 12.8 points per game.
Yeah, see, people forget that about Urban's teams. They were
the worst defense
dominated.
in the SEC that year gave up 31.2. Florida gave up 30.7. So they would have been the worst defense in the SEC if they were playing in 08. They were the best defense in the SEC in 08. So
defense wins championships.
Well, no, there
is
is some. I'm more than willing to understand the differences. Okay, we're not going to give up 13 points a game anymore, but we can't give up 30.
You can't. It's got to be 20.
We can give up 22 or 23 or 20. 20 would be fine. That's the.
I'm guessing if you went back and looked at the recent national champions, even the crazy scoring LSU Bengal Tigers, they're all played good defense too. Their defense.
2019 LSU team?
Yeah, and again, they scored so many points. They gave
21.2.
Right, and that's scoring 50 or whatever they did.
Yeah.
So it's just 30. Again, 30 points a game.
Jeffrey,
it's the same guy down there.
Okay, the same guy in 2019 gave up 14.4, which was second in the SEC.
Yeah.
So what was the reason? They point to no spring.
Well, that's crazy. They've been around forever, those guys.
Well, not those guys, but the kids got to learn. They got to get on the field.
It's
There's
the
a transition.
same. My point is that the 2019 to 2020, what was the big differences? They had most of the same personnel. They didn't have the kid from Marshall, obviously. Grenard was a great player.
Yeah. And the other guy.
And on the other side, too. But still, they had enough. They shouldn't. I put that on the coaches. There's enough talent down there, you shouldn't give up 30 a game.
I get it. Yeah, I'm just saying that. Yeah. I'm just saying that's why he's back again, though. You asked me why I would have fired him. Well,
just back to the beginning. I hope you're right because I've been kind of biting my tongue. I'm down on this great defensive improvement because the guy driving the car is the same one who crashed it.
Yeah, I hear you. It'll be look.
And he does have, in fairness, this isn't just like a rival's retort. He does kind of have a track record of he honeymoons his jobs, and then his defenses get a little bit progressively worse as he stays for the most part. That's what Georgia fan would tell you, in some of the other places. But
I know, but look, Todd Grantham has been with Dan Mullen since 2017. So that's a lot for an assistant. 17, 18, 19, 20. This will be his 5th year. He was in Louisville for 3 years. He was in Georgia from 10 to 13.
I think Gator fans immediately go to the fallback of the talent's not there, and that's where I disagree. I disagree the talent's not there. I think it's loaded with talent. I think the team last year that was the worst defensive team in Florida history, in 6 years, there's going to be 8 or 9 of those guys playing in the NFL. So I don't think it's the talent. Maybe Young, not, but that's your job.
I think he's got to do much better. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But I'm not ready to... Yeah, throwing the towel or.
No, I'm more concerned about that than you are. I'm not saying it's a deal breaker or that they can't show improvement. He can't push the right buttons. Right. I get that. Right. Are you telling me the year before in 2019 they only gave up 13 a game on defense?
That's what I told you.
Wow.
Second in the. I think it was 14, but second in the.
Oh, 2014.
No, I think it was 14 points.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's
offense must have been terrible.
14.4 points per game. In 12 games.
That's how you win. That's the kind of number. If you're looking for the Florida, last year was a better year with more losses. Although, you know what? Don't lie. That team finished 6th in the country. Last year's finished 11th.
Yeah.
12th or whatever it was. You better play defense like that. And we fall in love with Kyle Trask, 300-yard passes and 5 touchdowns. But the better team was the year before when the defense held people and stopped people.
The problem with last year was like we would look up and the guy would be running free or getting beat or, and you're like, what? Who's got that guy? Remember when Mullen lit him up on the sidelines? What game was that? It was a close game in the swamp.
Yeah.
He lit up Grantham in one of those games.
Yeah, it was early. It was a daytime game.
Something about man or zone or whatever.
Yeah, which it didn't seem to matter. Whatever the defense Florida played ended up with the other team scoring.
Yeah.
That happened an awful lot.
Oh, and then the other thing, and Clay County Gator has a good point too. The thing that drives me, there's 2 things that drive me crazy about Grantham, and it's fair. They're never ready. Remember watching the plays. The defense is never ready.
Guys are moving around.
Confused and perplexed. And then the other thing that I don't understand, and this is one of his staples, is, and I would need a coach to explain this to me because I've never said I'm an X's and O's guy. But for the life of me, what's the idea behind a blitz?
To pressure the quarterback into making a bad play.
Right. And so you want to get to him as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So why does Grantham blitz guys from 30 yards away?
I've never liked that.
Because I don't care how fast you are.
You can adjust to
You're
that.
basically giving the quarterback, he's going to pick up that you're coming, and he's not going if he's a good quarterback, he's just going to sit there and wait. His guy's going to open up and boop, he's going to throw it as your guy gets there. We blitz from safeties and corners and I know there's a deception to it, but it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if I'm going to blitz a corner.
He's a good corner, like a slot corner blitz, gets home a lot under Grantham.
Yeah, that's fine. If I am, though, I want him cheating, go! So, I don't know. That was just those 2 things drive me crazy about Grantham. And I guess the reason it drove me crazy, in fairness, is because they never got home. So if those long safety blitzes, like against Mississippi State in Starkville a couple years ago, that big safety blitz won the game from Steiner, if you remember. So
I do. About a 20-yard loss that play.
Yeah. So
they were about midfield too. Yes. It was much needed.
Yes. So anyway, that's.
If you ask me what happened in last night's game, I don't remember for some reason.
Is that how it works?
Some sort of memory issue going on.
Also in that game, Kadarius Toney, I think, threw a touchdown pass.
Oh,
do you remember that?
No, I don't. I do remember the sack.
Oh, okay.
I have I think FSU has the potential to be one of the more intriguing teams in the country. We're going to run the gamut here on analysis and evaluation going in. I think part of us forgets just how below average FSU's been the last couple of years.
Yes.
And then you mitigate that with this portal offseason that has been judged by most to be the best that any team has done. They added 6 top 100 portal
it has to lead
transfers.
To some
and
wins.
Most importantly is the quarterback. Mackenzie Milton, in some ways, can save the program, Dan, and get them right back on track.
Yes.
They're not doing it with these, with all due respect, man, stop with the Jordan Travises and stop it.
I say he's an improved thrower.
Yeah, okay.
If
he had 8 years to improve, then maybe we'll get to a winning level.
Part of the FSU narrative, I think, this offseason, and it's probably unfair, and you're contributing to it, Jeffrey, is that if Mackenzie Milton's not the guy, they're in trouble.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. And I don't think they do.
I listen.
Yes, sir.
Maybe he has improved as a thrower. I don't know. But Jordan Travis has now got to play for a couple of years, right? Last year completed 55% of his passes.
Yeah.
6 touchdown passes all year.
How many games?
He played a few, didn't he? They did run for 559, and that's great at Boston College. Let me know how that works against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They open with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
On Sunday, September 5th.
What do you think? Look at that schedule and tell me what you think they're going to be. I mean, it's the most important thing for FSU. If you could go 9-3 and just lose to Florida, Miami, Notre Dame, is that okay? Or Clemson, Miami, Clemson, Florida, Notre Dame. Beat one of those four.
Beat one of those four?
Yeah.
Do you think that would be huge? Do you think that would be a celebration?
Do you think they'll beat one of those four?
No.
You don't think they can beat Miami at home?
No.
I like seeing that game back in November, by the way. That's where Florida State Miami should be played. November.
All right.
You don't think they might can beat Miami at home.
Okay. I don't know that they'll beat North Carolina.
Is it acceptable to be 7-5, or are you more concerned? Do they need to have more improvement than that? Are you okay with that?
I'd be okay. Well,
because here's the problem.
You're asking me. I want them to be 3-9.
Okay, put that aside.
Ask FSU fan that.
Yeah.
Is it okay for you to be 7-5? They would probably tell you. My guess is they would tell you yes, because we're showing improvement. Or
what were they last year, Dan? You remember the record last year? Don't look. Just tell me. I know what it was.
It was not good.
Yeah.
It was like 4, and they didn't make a bowl.
No.
4?
3-6.
Yeah.
And that was winning the last game.
3-6, and they ducked a
Clemson
couple.
and Virginia. Yeah, they literally probably would have been 4-7, 4-8. They lost 3 in a row to end the year. Louisville beat them 48-16, and
they were terrible.
Yeah, 48-16, and then Pitt beat them in Tallahassee 41-17.
Yeah, if they played Clemson, Florida, and
right, they would have lost another 3 or 4 games. So where is the optimism coming from?
Well,
from 6 transfer portal guys?
Yes. So and a couple breakthroughs in recruiting.
They beat North Carolina 31-28, which they got away with, or they would have been 2-7.
Yeah, that was.
So again, I'm not saying that I think they're not improving. They are. We've given Mike Norvell credit for going around the state, doing these coaching clinics, doing the junior stuff, getting your name, getting your brand. Mm-hmm. It translates in recruiting down the road. But at some point, you have got to transition from getting really good, exciting 3-star players.
Yes.
To having a top 5 recruiting class.
No question.
And that's a message that I would also turn to the Southeast and implore Dan Mullen. You might catch lightning in a bottle one every 7 years with your 3 and 4-star prospects and your 10 and 12 recruiting rankings.
Uh-huh.
If you do not get up there in that top 3 recruiting, you are not going to catch Georgia and Alabama. It's not going to happen. Not even for a year. You've got to do that.
Yes.
Now, that being said, I saw a very interesting column yesterday. And the recruiting stars of this year's first round.
Okay.
A lot more 3 and 2 and unrated than
that doesn't
5-star.
matter, though.
My point is, when you get Kadarius Toney and everyone gets disappointed because you only got a 3-star, 4 years later he wasn't a 3-star at all. He was an NFL first rounder. Was my point.
Well,
but you
the
can't
2022 rankings. Or Georgia's 1, Ohio State's 2, LSU is 3,
Same old.
Notre Dame is 4, and they have 12.
Isn't Florida like 19?
FSU is 10th with 9 commits.
Yeah. What is Florida?
Florida is way down.
Yeah.
26.
Yeah, it's just, what are we doing, man?
Well, they have 6 commits.
I guess.
They don't have a
None
lot.
of them are a 5-star, not a 1.
No. 3 4-stars.
Yeah. Again, look, the stars on high school players are somewhat ridiculous. The difference in a 3 and a 5 is
Florida State, according to 24/7, has 2 5-stars.
I know.
Well, that's a breakthrough.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm saying. You need to do that.
Well, you said, what do you need? That's the positive.
Yeah, you do need that. And by the way, you also have to hold on to them.
Now, where's Bama's 16th?
Yeah, but they'll be second or third.
Clearly slowing down here.
Yeah, here
Nick.
we go.
This could be the end of the dynasty. They better get it going. They're 16th. My God.
These are intriguing storylines to me because in our lifetime, being fans, going to school, covering it for so many years, these 2 teams combined have been so freaking dominant. I mean, for most of our life, man, one of those 2 teams is in the talk for a national title before the season starts.
No doubt.
And they're not. I'm happy with Dan Mullen. I'm a little surprised that we're not closer to the prize in Gainesville if you have the right guy. Didn't take Kirby 8 years to go to a title game. At some point, you got to step up and go to the next level, and we haven't done that.
He's done pretty well.
No, I mean, again, based on what standard? He hadn't even won an SEC. Haven't won an SEC title. That's pretty well. That's pretty good if you're,
Who's
Tennessee.
won the SEC the last couple of years?
Again, your job, now 4 years in, is to catch those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, how long do you need to catch them? Do you need 7 years?
Yeah.
10 years? I would think 3 or 4 would be enough. If you're going to.
19-7 in the conference. 5-3, 6-2, and 8-2.
Not a single banner, not a trophy, not a ring, not a,
Top 10 teams.
Yeah. Last year was not a top 10 team. They went 8-4.
13th.
Yeah.
6th and 7th the 2 previous years.
Yeah. Behind what? Only 3 SEC teams, or were there 4 in front of them in those final rankings?
You're being awful tough.
Yeah. No, I'm not being awful tough.
I mean, again, there was much that needed to be done there in terms of overhauling the program.
Sure.
Much that needed to be done.
4 years ago, correct.
And he has
He's
made
had
the
more
brand,
than enough time.
He has made the brand way better. Way better. Way more exciting. Way more fun to watch. We sat there and watched an SEC championship game last year when our last 2 trips to was like a game show. Hey, welcome to the Name the Score SEC championship game. How much is Bama going to beat Florida by today? Is it 30? Is it 40? How many yards will the Gators ultimately end up with? Is it 18 or is it 27?
I wonder if that's how Bama looked at their 96 game against Florida. Well, they only beat us by 15 this time. I'm not taking great comfort out of the fact that, we actually played with a contender.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, Beef, let's hand something out. What do we got? Jeff's annoying me. It just happened at 7:40. I mean, he's annoying me more now than after the 3 games with the Braves and the Mets. I guess I annoyed him on those 2 days.
Our winner today is going to get a $25 gift certificate from Famous Automotive and Quick Lube.
Okay.
You can use that for oil changes and other services. And you can head out there today, noon to 3, hang out with the gang from the Lunch Bunch, XL Primetime, at their grand opening, Blanding and Lakeshore Boulevard. Score one of those Trevortown headbands, and you'll get a 4-pack of vouchers to a Jumbo Shrimp home game of your choice.
Wow, Jeff, give me a caller, please.
Caller number 3.
3 is what Jeff Prosser has decided at 641-1010. Bang!